well, fancy seeing you here. I read a magazine. Very rare, very rare. It's there's some bloke in it. I think it's David Essex, isn't it? Yeah, it's a I don't know, uncut. Pete Gabriel's in it. There's lots to read. I mean, I suppose really you should buy it yourself. I'm not going to read it to you because wouldn't be fair on the people at Uncut, would it? But there are a few things in there that you might like to know. For example, he's quite happy dribbling out music for the rest of his life via Bandcamp. No, Mr. Gabriel, no. But yeah, he doesn't. It seems like he's not that enamoured with the album format anymore, and this is what we're getting. We're going to get dribs and drabs released digitally from now on. Oh no. You know, as somebody who likes the album as an art form, this saddens me somewhat, but so it goes. That's the way it is. But it doesn't really hold out any hope for I.O. to be released tangibly. I mean, again, there's no indicator in the interview about the album actually coming out. Just that it's called I.O., which stands for Input Output, but also references the moons of Jupiter, which I think I did mention in one of my reviews. So, hey, I got that one right. But yeah, he does say about some of the songs, going back, are a bit old, and some of them are a bit new. You got that kind of thing going on. But one of the interesting things, again, he mentions it briefly in the Uncut interview, but about technology, because Gabriel likes technology. He likes all that stuff. He likes to be on the the cutting edge, and AI rears its ugly head. It's touched upon in this, but there's another interview with Yahoo Entertainment. I'll link this in the comments so you can read it yourself, the full thing. And he doesn't seem as put off by AI as the rest of us are. He says we might as well just grab the algorithms and dance with them rather than fight them. And again, he doesn't have an issue with AI created art or music. And when they say, well, AI music or is a lot of this AI creation lacks the human soul. He says that it's because we haven't fed enough data into it. I mean, really, Pete? Really? Do you want us all to be replaced by the algorithm? Do you, Pete? Again, I don't have a problem with AI per se, but you've got to remember that a lot of this AI stuff is rather bland. It produces very bland academia. It lacks passion. Humans have passion and bias and creativity, and we have the ability to go off on a tangent, and that's what weaves our humanity into our art, whether it be music or writing or photography. It's what makes us what we are. And I don't think they're ever going to be able to do that with AI. You might be able to do parodies of people, and again, he doesn't seem to be worried about that. But he mentions in this and in the Uncut interview his intentions years ago when he was with Genesis to use electronics to feed off the biorhythms of the musicians in Genesis, the band, and his current band. He still wants to do things like this where he hooks them up to the machines, and the musicians' moods will generate music or visuals. So but yeah, with the Yahoo interview, he's also promoting the book Reverberation, because he's got a company called Reverberation. The book's called Reverberation, Do Everything Better with Music, and he wrote the foreword for it. And I haven't bought the book yet. I've known it's been out for a while. I think it's been around for a while, but it's about how you can use music to change your mood, be more productive, and it's a scientific basis of all that. So maybe I'll put an Amazon link to that for you. But yeah, he talks about experiments with biofeedback in the 70s and relates that to AI. And the interview says, makes a very good point about a robot could never create a song as brilliant as Don't Give Up. Well, firstly, would a robot think, or an AI algorithm think, how would I get that bass sound? I know, I'll stuff a nappy into the bridge end of the bass guitar to deaden the resonance of the notes, for that's what Tony Levin did, and that's why it has such a unique sound on the song, and I think it's integral to the song. AI and computers would never think of doing that, because that itself is humanity. One, it's the human's left field way of thinking. Two, babies. AI will never have babies, not ones that poop and need nappies. But yeah, he says most people argue no, but I would say we just need better algorithms. He answers with a chuckle. Some would argue that you can't replace the human spirit, but I think there's probably going to be an algorithm for the spirit too. So you might as well grab the algorithm and dance with them rather than fight them. And he references King Canute, but again, Gabriel, he wrote a song about King Canute. Can Utility and the Coastliners, back with Genesis, and he gets the myth the wrong way around. A lot of people do this. King Canute wasn't trying to prove that he could stop the tide. He was doing the opposite. He was trying to prove that as a king, he was no better than any other man, that he wasn't there sent from God. And the idea was that he puts his throne by the sand, on the sands by the tide, and the sand washes over and he can't do anything. And he says to everyone, look, I'm just like you. I'm nothing special. And that is a lesson about humility, not about being arrogant in the face of nature. It's the opposite, and Gabriel got it wrong. Can't believe it. But yeah, and he compares, resistance to AI to the story of Canute. Yeah. He says, we're getting into the robot battlefield. How long will a human last? And there's an idea, if we find intelligent life on other planets, that when an intelligent species is so smart it can destroy itself, it very often does. That's a quote taken from the Uncut interview. I read the same quote. But yeah, pretty miserable quote, that, isn't it? But yeah, Reverberation is a new brain on music, entertainment, media and tech studio founded by Mr. Gabriel himself, entrepreneur Michael Herman, and Peter Gabriel's daughter, Anna Gabriel. So, and the Reverberation book is the first project they've put out. So there you go. But yeah, it goes on a lot. It goes on a lot about Chat GPT and everything, and algorithms. But yeah, so I just thought I'd talk about it. Will there be a Peter Gabriel algorithm that will carry on releasing music on Bandcamp and charge us £3 a month for it? I hope not. I sincerely hope not. But yeah, for those of you who are interested, there's it's not a bad thing in Uncut. There's a few. I'll show you it briefly. There you go. See, Watcher of the Skies, more like Watcher of the Pies. It's quite a big piece, but the lettering's too small. I had to hold it really far away from me to read it. And yeah, there's interviews with David Rhodes and Tony Levin, just little Q&As. It's all done in like a Q&A format. And Manu Katché as well. So yeah, so I thought it was good. It was all right. It was all right past the time. Pastime written by Michael Bonner. There you go. And like I say, the interview on Yahoo Entertainment I'll post in the box below, and you can read that. Ping, and you can. Entertain yourself over the weekend. Thank you for watching. That's me talking about Peter Gabriel and his recent interviews, because the media machine for I.O. is cranking up somewhat. no mention of a physical album. We don't even know if these songs are being released in the right order. And he talks about using Bandcamp to release all sorts of stuff that, soundtrack stuff that he's done. He seems to be very enthused by the ability to release anything anytime he wants. He also talks about seeing Genesis, the last Genesis performance, and he said, well, I was there at the beginning and it was only right that I should be there at the end. I'm pressed on being back with the band. He said, oh no, I like to do whatever I want, whenever I want, however I want. So that was an interesting little quote, but also quite sweet that he talks about the human relationships between him and the members of Genesis, which was nice. But yeah, that's it. So keep your eyes on Bandcamp, I guess. I think we might be coming up to another release soon. I think there was another one. There was another rehearsal release the other day, but I think we might be getting is it Dark Side or Bright Side? I'm losing count. So again, I'm still not sure whether to review those individually or maybe do like a compendium of a couple of them. Let me know in the comments box below, or not, as the case may be. Thank you for watching. My name's been Darren Lock. I've been talking about Peter Gabriel's uncut interview and his views on AI, Genesis, and whatever else. Thank you for watching. There's only one more thing to say. By now, you know what that is. That is ta-da!